we've talked a lot about the background of an initial coin offering. Now let's talk about the specifics of how the ICO actually works. When a cryptocurrency project wants to raise money through an ICO, the organizers, their first step, determine the structure of the coin and how they're going to go about funding it. We're going to cover that in just a little bit. They can be structured a few different ways, including, before we go there, let's talk about those people that are actually organizing it, because that really is the core, because we're talking about how it's going to impact you. And if you're interested in going into this ICO, there's a lot of merit to it. Those 20% that were successful out there on the ICOs, the people made an awful lot of money, and they walked away actually feeling they accomplished something a lot of times too, besides just making a profit. But there's 80% out there who invested in ICO, and they might have a different opinion about that, and you may too by the time you're all done. So if you're going to enter this field, do it wisely by doing the following. First of all, make certain you do your homework. Make certain the people that are putting up the ICO are real and accountable. They should be involved. They should make certain that they're relevant, have verified experience. If they don't have that, it's a red flag. You've seen people play golf. They're out there at the tee and they drive the ball down the field towards a golf hole. And in the hole, there's a flag, and the flag is flapping in the breeze. Well, except for the fact that in the ICO, that flag isn't a little flag. That flag is a big flag. Be careful. Make certain the people involved are relevant and have experience. They should be able to spell cryptocurrency at least. So don't buy it if they can't spell the whole word. So be cautious about investing in it. Make certain the people involved are credible. You know what? A lot of movie stars and athletes who don't know a thing about cryptocurrency were involved in ICOs. And by the way, they're getting sued now because a lot of people were taken for fraud, and they feel that and everything else, whether it was or not. But the reality is, make certain the people that are involved aren't just movie stars and basketball players. Make certain they're involved, that they actually know what they're doing, and not because they can dribble a ball in a court. That doesn't make them a crypto expert. Anybody can launch an ICO, but it doesn't mean everyone should. Like I said, maybe we should launch an ICO as a class. Yeah, we have enough expertise in here. We can do that. Yes, yes. And sometimes we have as much experience as some of the people that did launch it. So there's 3 different ways on the supply and prices to how they go about planning to launch your ICO. You can have a static supply and a static price. Our price is $20,000 a coin, and we're going to sell 20 million coins, and we're going to make a lot of money. And no matter what, you must pay that price, and we're not going to make any more coins past this. Well, okay, now you have a clear field. You know exactly what it is. You know how much you have to make. And if you don't make that, you cancel the ICO. Nobody really wins in that, except for the fact that maybe if you don't hit your goals, maybe it's a good time to get out right away. So a preset price and the token supply is fixed. That really is a nice solid aspect of it, because everything is defined up front. You know what you're getting involved in right away. There's a positive thing about this aspect. The next one is, we're going to make 20 million coins, and we're going to sell them for whatever we can get for them, whether it's $15 or $15,000. We're going to sit down and take our 20 million coins, and we're going to go out there and sell. There's actually merit for that, because the company, the only time they're going to make money is the first time they're selling their ICO, just like the IPO. They're not going to make money in the secondary market, but on the initial market, that's where they make their money. And really, that's what they're looking to make the most, because that's the only time that company can make money off their ICO project. Static supply and dynamic price. The other one is a dynamic supply. In other words, you can make as many as you want. You sit down there and say, okay, we're going to sit down there. The price for our coins is going to be $50 a coin. And how many ever we need to, we'll keep on making them. And if it keeps on selling, we'll make these coins forever and again, because we want to make money. Okay, that would work, but at least you know what you're doing. You know what the price is, what the company is selling them for, and the supply can be variable in the process. Almost all the time, you'll have a utility token that's offered in exchange for the funds that you're turning into, whether fiat or digital currency. So you have some implied future benefit. They really are vague because of the fact that their product or service is not fully developed at the time of issuance. Very different from the IPO at this point. On initial public offering, when you're selling stock, you know what that company is about. On the ICO, You think you know what it's about because you have a white paper on it. You don't have that huge document you have in the IPO. You have this white paper that defines it. And no, they can't really go out there and put something out there and lie about it intentionally. We'll talk about that in just a minute too as well. So it's to some extent, when it comes down to the ICO, it's kind of like you're offering future seats in a restaurant. Oh, we're going to have this luxury restaurant. It's going to look just like the Ritz-Carlton. And by the time it's all done, you get one that looks kind of like McDonald's. Okay, so it just depends. The restaurant, you're going to have all these descriptions about it, but if it's not been built yet, if it's not been fully defined yet, you might have a problem with that. There's no pivoting or shifting purpose. This is for a restaurant. That's their metaphor here. But the reality of you can't shift on purpose. You're kind of locked into that industry as to what you're doing, but you can't change the focus because it's already invested in the process. The utility token is actually some type of a monetary exchange. You cash, you get a token, and later on you can sell it after you get over the initial ICO. The purchasers have access to a sort of ecosystem inside the company with their tokens. So it depends what they have. But Reid Hoffman probably says it best from LinkedIn. Even though he's on LinkedIn, he's one of the experts and gurus on cryptocurrency, and he says this: ICOs can resemble an unintentional fraud. In other words, the people that are selling them may have the best will at heart. It's just a matter of the market is so undefined and so unstructured that they're going out there and they're milking people to the point that those 20,000 plus cryptocurrencies that are now down to 8,000, well, somebody sat there and lost massive amounts of money in the process. Let's hope it's not you or me. So how an ICO works: a white paper defines the intention. Investors are issued a utility token with some implied benefits. Anyone can pitch in and buy even parts of a coin, kind of like the crypto market. Instead of you having to buy a block of 100 shares of stock, in the crypto market, you can buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what portion that you have, just you have that. And the same thing with the ICO. The ICO is accessible to all of us, much more democratic than the IPO, which looks for billionaires and millionaires. Static supply and static price, static supply and dynamic price, dynamic supply and static price. Those are the three options. And that really is the best way how an ICO works. Take care.